From Honolulu, Hawaii, USA Network presents the McDonald's China versus USA Gymnastics Invitational. This program is brought to you in part by McDonald's, sponsors of amateur sports from the neighborhood to the 1984 Olympics. By Mobile Super Unleaded Gasoline. Mobile Super Unleaded. It's really powerful. And by Levi's, jeans, cord, and shirts for quality and style you can count on. One of the major sports that will be under the Olympic microscope just a few weeks from now is certainly gymnastics. And imagine the pressure that the athletes will feel when they perform in Los Angeles on that day, having waited 8 years instead of 4 for their one shining moment. And believe me, that microscope will not miss a move. And so tonight, from one of America's most relaxed atmospheres, Hawaii, we present one of Team USA's most intense tests. I'm Al Troutwig along with John Trietta. John, it's been a long wait, maybe too long, and tonight is a very important moment for you.
Well, Alan, I agree with you. I think the wait has been almost too long, and the intensity of the competition is really felt. The pressure has been building up for so long that it might even affect the performances. I hope not. I hope to see, good performances today, but you could really feel the tension out there.
Well, I hope we'll see good performances, too. Keep one thing in mind as you watch along with us tonight on USA, and that is the routines we will be seeing tonight are most likely the routines we'll be seeing once again in Los Angeles. And so one mistake or one major victory will be the emotional carryover for these gymnasts that they take with them to Los Angeles.
Well, just one mistake really knocks a youngster out of the all-around competition and as well as the individual finals. So perfection, that is the keynote for today. You must be almost perfect. So if you have a small error between now and the Olympic Games, you have to go back and try to correct that.
Now, this is day 3 in this 3-day meeting between the Chinese and the Americans. Day 1, it was the men versus the men. Day 2, it was the women versus the women. And tonight, we will see the individual finals.
Well, the first day was just a marvelous competition, and the Chinese men are ranked #1 in the world, and the American men came very close to beating them. And this was a major psychological victory for the men. But for the ladies, they beat the Chinese girls. They lost to them in the '83 World Championships, and beating them here today is very, very good news because it gives them the edge going into the Olympic Games.
Handling Olympic pressure can be a problem that can bring on defeat. We'll get a chance to see how Team USA can solve this problem in just a moment. Aloha from Hawaii. We'll be right back. 3-year-old Li Jiaoping of the Chinese team, and we'll begin our McDonald's USA versus China Gymnastics Invitational with floor exercise.
Starts off with a very difficult tumbling pass, double back somersault, a full twist. Way up there, very smooth landing. Second pass, round of back handspring, double back somersault. And now you know why he's so good on floor exercise, Alan. Here are circle movements, flare movements on the floor.
And for the world champion in pommel horse, I saw some pommel horse there.
A balance move. What a great crowd here.
As smooth and crisp as we have come to expect from the Chinese.
Nice time for him to rest. And the bell was a warning bell. He has to finish his routine quickly. Double back somersault and a great landing. No extra steps. And when tenths really determine the score, you cannot afford to take any additional steps.
The coaching staff of the Chinese team seem to nod in improvement. And the level of competition has been set by Li Jiaoping. Let's watch again.
Round off, back handspring, and here's his mount, a double back somersault with a full twist. Look how high he was.
Next competitor for the United States.
Not a step, not an extra move.
Extremely controlled landing.
A 9.9 for Li Jiaoping. Amazing. And now we're going to turn it over to the Americans. And we've been wondering what it is like to compete against the Chinese. Here's Peter Vidmar.
Whenever you're competing, you want to be able to compare yourself with the best, because that's the best way of knowing where you stand. And the Chinese are the best gymnasts in the world right now. And I think we'll hold our own, and if we look good against them, then I think that's a great sign for our hopes in the Olympics. I think that we're a definite hopeful for a medal, definite candidates for medals, and I think that we'll show that in this competition.
I know there are very often discussions on the American men's team and the toughness and the experience that's required. What do you think of this team?
Well, I think that we have the toughest and most experienced team that we've ever had, and I think that's our greatest asset right now. We have a lot of depth, and in the past, the United States hasn't had a very deep team. And this time we have a very deep team where the number 6 man and the number 1 man are just about the same in their ability in gymnastics. So that's going to be our best forte going into the team competition for the Olympics, and I think that we're really in a good shot for a medal.
That was then, this is now, for the former UCLA Bruin, Peter Vidmar.
Peter starts off with a double back somersault with a full twist also. Good start. Second pass, a double back somersault. But you could see a little bit of a bobble there, and that'll be about a 10th deduction.
John, what are the inherent differences in the way the Chinese approach floor exercise and the way the Americans do?
I think the differences are getting less and less as time goes on. The American gymnasts are improving so rapidly. As you can see, Peter's first tumbling move and his second tumbling move were the same as Li Xiaoping's. So there are tremendous similarities. I'd say the Chinese sometimes tumble a little bit higher and control their landings a little bit better at times. That's sometimes the difference between first and second place.
Final pass. One little hop. He had that one step earlier. How much will that hurt him?
Well, each time he took a hop and a step, that was about a 10th deduction. So it looks like maybe about 2/10 off. His second pass, a double back somersault in tuck position. Brings his knees to the chest, way up there. Good arm reach, very pretty landing, but a slight step.
Leave their lights on. The bad news is they're blocking an exit and they will be towed away. First, there's a Datsun, license BCY 952, a Toyota.
And a little strength on his fingertips, a VC press, right to the handstand. You need strong fingers, Al.
Very strong fingers. You can see in the corner the score of Li Xiaoping, a 9.9. Peter Vidmar, a 9.8. And so, John Trietti, you guessed 2/10 would be lost. He lost 2/10. And so other than those two lost steps, he was perfect. Song Wen, 21 years old.
Let's remember, the difference between first and second place will be 1/10. A high double back layout somersault. That's an exceedingly difficult mount. You have to go around twice, but you keep your body straight. Layout position, high side somersault. Very aggressive performers. And Alan, they do tumble pretty high, don't they?
And I think we can see right off the bat that all these gymnasts are very ready for this.
No fooling around here today.
You can hear it in the crowd. It's nearly silent here, yet there's great appreciation in the silence.
Back layout, punch front with the quarter. And we're here at the Neil Blaisdell Arena, and they've really packed the house. Double back somersault. Look how high he was. All I saw is the very end, just a slight hop forward. The most you could take off was a 10th of a deduction on this entire routine. Watch the side pass. Way up there. High back layout. Punch somersault with 1 1/4 right to a front drop.
Oh, that bounce off the toes. And for Song Wen, he ties his countryman Li Xiaoping with a 9.9. And for now, that is the score to beat for well-known Jim Hartung. Second place at the '84 American Cup. And, of course, one of the great Huskers of Nebraska.
Jim starts off. Round of back handspring. Double back somersault with a full twist. But over-rotated it just slightly. But bailed it out by turning quickly and landing on his hands.
Now, the story of Hartung is comeback of the year.
Double twisting back somersault. Yes, Jim had a down year last year. And this year, even though he had some shoulder problems, he's made a miraculous comeback. He did very well at the American Cup, and you can see his shoulder is not bothering him as much as it was a year ago. Second place at the American Cup, first place at the International Mixed Pairs this year. A very important win for Jim.
And still under the guidance of Husker coach Francis Allen.
The warning bell before the dismount. And if he can really stick this dismount, he's got a good score. Double back somersault.
He's there.
And he's there.
A very knowledgeable crowd here. Let's watch Jim Hartung once again.
Strong tumbling pass, round of back, handspring. This was his mount. Double back somersault with a full twist, but he over-rotates it, almost lands on his backside, but turns and saves it.
Jim Hartung, a 9.8. And so he is tied now with Peter Vidmar, Lu Yun. 1/10 separating the top two and the second two. Chinese on top of the 9-9.
Double back layout, and what control on the landing. He kept his body straight 2 times around. Very tough to rotate when you keep your body straight. That was a side summy 1 3/4. Not only is it dangerous, but it's almost impossible.
Lu Yun, 19 years old, one of the younger members of this Chinese team.
Lu works on floor exercise if he has wings attached to his shoulders. He gets way, way up there, tremendous height. Very strong upper body, but look at his legs, powerful. And if he could really nail this dismount, he's got a 10-0 routine. Let's take a look. Double back somersault with a full twist, only that slight step forward. But what a difficult dismount to try to perform at the end of a routine. A double back somersault with a full twist, but he went for it. Let's watch. Side summy, here's this 1 3/4 side summy coming up. He turns his body sideways, 1 time around, and here's the 3/4. He dives to the floor. Wow. What do you think, Alan? Look how this man floats.
He is floating. And for Lu Yun, a 9.9. And so the Chinese put the squeeze of pressure on the Americans in this, our first event. Li Jiaoping, Song Wen, and Lu Yun, all with a 9.9. Peter Vidmar and Jim Hartung in second with a 9.8. We are indoors in Honolulu, Hawaii, but believe me, there's a great outdoors too. We'll be back on USA Sports. Women's Vault is next. Young athletes who practice every single day, as Kathy Johnson does, inspiration is important. Where does it come from?
Well, I think I decided a long time ago that while I'm in the sport, I want to learn all there is to know about gymnastics in all aspects of it. And that's what I've set out to do, and that takes time. And I decided I wanted to put as much time as I could into it. And it took so long to get to this place that I am right now that I want to stay in as long as I can to enjoy it.
And right now, Kathy Johnson is the oldest woman competing in gymnastics. 24 years old. She has called many places home, but right now you can find her in Los Angeles getting ready. Here she is.
This is great shape. It's a Sukahara, laid out, just pikes it down at the very end, but what control on the landing.
John, this is one girl you really have to side with. Back in 1980, she was second in the Olympic trials, and now she's ready for 84.
Right, and watch the Sukahara. It's a half turn onto the horse, and a back somersault layout, just pikes it around at the very end, but what a great landing. And Alan, I'll tell you, after the 80 games, there must have been a tremendous letdown. And to see her here in 84, that's just great.
Well, John, I'm not sure I've ever prepared 4 years for anything in my life. Not even my college diploma. I took that one day at a time. I can't imagine what that feels like. 9.75 as Kathy Johnson gets things underway. Attempt number 2 for her.
She's in good shape and very prepared mentally to compete against this Chinese team. Concentration. Strong run. Sukahara with a full twist and a great landing. And this is a very good vault for Kathy. In fact, she's very pleased about this.
It seemed much crisper than her first attempt.
Well, Sukahara full is a newer vault for Kathy, and to perform at this level with such control, she has to feel just super about it.
Her coach, Don Peters, just another one of the well-known names involved in gymnastics in our country.
Sukahara, full twist, and the landing. No extra steps.
9-8-0 for Kathy Johnson of the United States as our USA versus China Invitational continues. Zhou Ping of the Chinese team.
Alan, in international competition, they take the two scores, the two vaulting scores, they add them together, divide it, and the average score is the score that counts. Round up back handspring, Sukahara. Woo! He was way up there and in laid out position, very quick.
Well, we're beginning to associate one thing, the Chinese and oohs and ahs from the crowd. Watch again.
Watch this, a round off back handspring onto the horse. And then a Sukahara full twist, almost in laid out position with a great landing.
Great height, great spring off the horse.
Just a slight little wiggle step at the end is the only deduction I saw.
It wasn't much of a deduction in the judges' eyes. 9.95.
Alan, whatever she gets on this next vault, they're going to average out the two vaults, and that will be her final score. So she starts off with a 9.95.
And Kathy Johnson's average, by the way, was a 9.775. Second and final attempt, Zhou Ping.
And they are two different vaults each time. That's the requirement. Round and back handspring. Sukahara laid out. One big step forward. The only difference that I could see is that maybe not quite as high, and that one big step forward. And that's a big 10th deduction. Watch. Round off, back handspring, punches on the board, hands on the horse, back layout. A little short, not quite as far away as before, and that big step forward.
And her second score, 9.7, and her average, 9.85.
So second vault, 9.7.
Next up for the United States, Zhou Ping's final. There you see it, 9.85. We go to the Stars and Stripes again. Here's Diane Durham, the 1983 USA all-around champion, the pride of Gary, Indiana. Her first attempt.
Watch Diane. It's one of the strongest events. Powerful vaulting. Sukahara layout. And once again, way up in the air. But Alan, it's that hop backwards and then the little step afterwards. This is what hurts.
400 horsepower vault right here. She has to look at those legs churn.
Watch how high she gets. Way up there. Nice laid out position. Great vault, but then step. You caught it. And that'll hurt her score.
And for Diane Durham, a 9.75. Identical to Kathy Johnson's first jump. But remember, once again, the Americans are looking up at the top at the Chinese. Right now, Zhou Ping, her average 9.85. Here's the second attempt for Diane Durham. USA needs a big number here, and this is the lady that can deliver.
Diane probably will do a Sukahara with a full twist. And the key here is not just doing the vault and getting great distance, but how you land it. Sukahara full twist. Woo!
She delivers airmail. Diane Durham.
And is she happy about that?
High fives. This could be a big number for Team USA. Her coach, Scott Krause, his work has paid off.
What a wonderful vault. A Sukahara laid out, straight body position. Here comes the full twist, body straight, and a great landing.
You hear the crowd. They're responding to a 9.95 for Diane Durham. That will bring her average score to 9.85. She is now tied with Zhou Ping.
Average 9.85.
Now Ming Guizhou.
Final vaulter from the People's Republic of China, Ming Guizhou.
Well, that was a handspring front somersault in pike position. Not quite as dynamic as the previous vaulters, and she took that one huge step forward. So I don't think you're going to see a very high score.
Well, Ming looks almost frail in comparison to Diane Durham.
It's a handspring, front somersault, pike position, very pretty form. Bends her knees at the very end, and he has that big step forward, over-rotates it.
Second attempt now for Ming Guizhou, her first, a 9.75. A little higher than I thought, John.
Well, it was a pretty vault, but she didn't show the control on the landing that is required.
Okay, second attempt.
Fukuhara with a full twist. That was good vault, except I think that her amplitude from the horse could have been higher, and she had, once again, that additional step. It kind of traveled, didn't go up as high as you'd want, and on the landing, that big step.
And the second score for Guizhou, 9.85, a very good score. Her average, 9.8. And so at the top, it will be Zhou Ping and Diane Durham at 9.85, and Ming Guizhou of the Chinese team at 9.80. We're all looking forward to the Los Angeles Games, and they're thinking about the traffic on the freeways. Here in Hawaii, they're not worried about that at all. There are different ways to travel. Mentioned Mrs. George Ariyoshi. He is the governor of the state of Hawaii. I'm Al Trowig, along with John Trietta, and a wonderfully enthused crowd at the Neil Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu. And now it's men's pommel horse. This is Peter Vidmar.
Continuous circling movements required.
He can really excel at this, can he?
Oh, sure can. Must utilize all parts of the horse. There's a flare movement right to the handstand. Scissor work is a requirement on the horse.
What else is a key to look for?
Really, don't stop. Keep your leg form. Don't bend your knees. And this was just a wonderful routine. A great routine.
A wonderful routine by number 20 from Team USA, Peter Vidmar. Now, if he doesn't look like the All-American kid, I don't know who does.
Well, watch Peter's mount on the pommel horse. You can't stop ever. And look how he's doing these circles. Facing down the horse. Turns his hips, while in double leg circles, and moves up to the center of the horse on one pommel. Just a wonderful beginning.
I'll say a 9.95 for Peter Vidmar. Ye Weidong of the Chinese team. He will be second. You'll see from time to time as we look at these gymnasts graphically on the screen some, and I mean only some, of the things that they have achieved in their gymnastic careers. Every one of the gymnasts we're seeing today has a long, long list.
So far, good routine. Scissor with a half turn there, doing the scissor sequence. Getting set for his dismount. Very, very pretty. Not quite as extended as Peter's, and the difficulty was very, very good, but I thought that Peter did more one pommel work and was a little more aggressive.
Zhao Weidong, one more look.
Here's the scissor combination. There's a scissor with a half turn. There it is. Very pretty.
And the score, 9.80. Next up, we will go to the Americans once again. A man that some people think has ice in his veins and not blood. Mr. Intensity, Tim Daggett.
Timmy, you're known as Mr. Intensity, is that right? Well, I don't know. That's a few people call me that. I like to perform, and when I do perform, I like to really go after it. So I guess Mr. Intensity is okay.
Yeah, but you really go after it. I mean, the concentration and everything else. I mean, where does this inner drive? You can see it. That drive is right there. Where does it come from?
Well, I've had some problems when I was just starting the sport with a few routines, and I learned pretty quickly that if you walk up to the apparatus and if you're a little cautious, you really seem to make more mistakes. So I try to go all out from the start, 100% all out.
Well, I've never seen anybody go all out the way you do on pommel horse. What is the key?
I think it's confidence. I feel that if I do what I'm supposed to, you know, like I do in practice, that it's going to be all right. So I just go at it like I do in practice. Everyone goes all out in practice, but when they get in a meet, sometimes they get a little leery, and that's when they make mistakes.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Most people feel that pommel horse is boring. I mean, really boring. Not when you're up there. I'm excited. I just can't wait to watch you on pommel horse. What is the ending that you do, that flare combination? It's just incredible.
Okay, well, I walk from one end of the horse to the other without using the pommels, and then I do a behind-the-back hop-up and to a flaring Stockley dismount. It's an original combination that I put together, and I really enjoy it.
Next up,
That is Tim Daggett in his interview mode, and now we will see him in his performance mode. Poker face.
You'll know what Tim means when he mentions the flare movements. We'll see that at the end of his routine. These are flares. Only the beginning. Scissor work out of the way now. And now it goes to the high drive. Watch. Flares up and down the horse. Back to the center. Into the handstand.
Almost magical from Tim Daggett. The UCLA Bruin has dazzled this crowd. And you can see the level of sportsmanship here. Doesn't matter where you're from, only what you've done. They've given Tim a perfect 10.
Well deserved, Alan. This kid is so improved. And watch. This original combination. Flares up and down the horse. He doesn't even touch the pommels with his hands. And now watch. He hops by pushing himself back into the center of the horse. And for a dismount, he goes right into the handstand.
and he was the runner-up in the World Championships in 1983 from China.
Amazing.
Xiaoping.
Li Xiaoping for the Chinese team. I would think one of the most difficult things to do is follow someone who's just registered a 10.
But he doesn't seem phased at all.
No. He is 21 years old.
Cool and collected.
At the 21st World Championships, he was the best on the entire planet in this event.
Watch this. He's not even touching the pommels. Everything's in between. Double leg circles. Flare. Look at his hands. He places his hands in different positions. What a master. Look at this. Up and down the horse backwards. Into the handstand again.
I didn't see anything wrong with that one.
Either did I. And at the World Championships, there were a lot of 10s, and he certainly scored his share of 10s. And look at his mount. Once again, he doesn't put his hands on the pommels. He puts them between the pommels. And it's much harder doing that than putting them on the pommels because it gives you much more amplitude off the horse.
When is being perfect not enough to win? Right now, that's when. Li Xiaoping, a perfect 10. And that ties him at the top with Tim Daggett, if you can believe it. Arms raised high, 2 medals, a tie at the top. How can you knock it? A great moment for Tim Daggett of the United States and Li Xiaoping of China. And in second place, actually third, Peter Vidmar, 9.95. It's China versus the United States on USA Sports. We are in Honolulu, Hawaii. And we are standing by for more women's competition on the uneven bars. It's a great moment for those two. This is Wu Jiani We have heard that she has great skills in this event.
Watch for the big release on the uneven bars. They have to let go of the bar. There it is. Straddles over the bar and dislocates afterwards. It really hurt your shoulders. The front somersault. Beautiful transitions from the low bar to the top bar. Back into the handstand. Getting set for a dismount. Back somersault. A heck back tuck off the top bar. How do you like that mount in the beginning where she straddles over the bar?
I like all those smiles.
Free hip to the handstand. And watch, straddles over the bar, grabs behind her back. Dislocates her shoulders. You must really have flexible shoulders to do this move.
Oh boy, another high standard for everyone to shoot for. 9.95 for Wu Jiani.
9.95.
Well, the level of competition just won't die here, John. It has started off at a tremendously high level and stayed there. Now Michelle Duzer of a Southern California gymnastics team called the Scats. Her coach is Don Peters, and she was a member of the World Championship team of 1983.
Michelle does a very big release move. Good stall to work. Giant swing. And here it is, a front somersault in straddle position out of a giant. Back to the top bar. Getting set for her dismount. Giant swing. Front with a half turn. And, you know, the difference between winning and losing in a competition like this is really 0.05 of a point. A tenth here, a tenth there. This was another great routine. Big release coming up. Giant swing. Another giant swing. Which there's a half turn. Front somersault, straddle position.
A superb 9.9 for Michelle Duzer. And next up for the Chinese, Ma Young Hong. You know, there's an important spark plug of the American team that's not here. That's Mary Lou Retton. John asked her why she's not here.
I have a slight, sprain in my foot, and it's not serious, but Championships of USA are coming up, and I just want to be healthy, and I don't want to take any risks right now.
But at the same time, I know you want to be out there competing against the Chinese. Do you really miss it?
I really do. I don't like coaching and being on sidelines. I'd rather be out there doing it myself, because I don't know. I love to compete, and I like to prove to myself and to the crowd, that I can do it.
Chinese gymnasts, very friendly, very nice, and very nice gymnastics. Very nice gymnastics. Is there anything that impresses you about the female Chinese gymnasts?
They're good all-around gymnasts. They're strong on everything, and I guess the artistic part of it too. They're very nice with their hands and very graceful. And they're super people. They're the nicest. I mean, you can joke with them, even though we can't speak the same languages. We can communicate perfectly.
Well, it doesn't get cuter than that, folks, nor more successful than this. Ma Young Hong, the world champion on uneven bars. This is her event.
Just watch. Giant swing, reverse hecht. She's so fluid. The transitions from one bar to the next. Dynamic. Back to the top bar. Getting set for a dismount. Beautiful toe point. Legs always together. A hecht off with a full twist. And look at the landing. A great landing. Where we have a world championship routine from the world champion. It'll be a very high score and well-deserved.
And again, team members from both sides, both from China and the United States, over to congratulate the world champion, Ma Young Hong. Certainly deserving of another look.
Well, there's a lot of respect for her accomplishments, and watch this dismount. A hecht, back somersault with a full twist, and the landing was perfect.
And you can hear it in the background. Ma Young Hong has put on a perfect performance. A 10.
And now from USA, Lucy Weiner.
Lucy Weiner up next. She is from that Southern California gymnastics team, also known as the Scats.
This is a young gymnast coming on the national scene within the last year. Doing very well. Vault over the top bar. Just a slight form break on it. Key is don't stop moving on the uneven bars. And her dismount. Front with a half. Solid landing. A very solid performance for Lucy on the uneven bars. Toe on, toe off. A little fight there. Stall the shoot. Very quick. And look at the vault. Over the bar. But just split her legs just slightly. That's the only real deduction that I picked up.
And for Lucy Weiner, a 9.90. I'll tell you something. If the Olympics wind up this tight, the world will be watching in awe. A 9.90. Good enough for only the third best score. We run down the leaderboard for you. The winner of the event, Ma Young Hong, the world champion, a 10.0 perfect. Then Wu Xiani a 9.95, and then Michelle Dussaire and Lucy Weiner, the two Americans, a 9.9. Well, you know, it's going to be tough to get to Los Angeles. We've heard rumors here in Honolulu that some folks here are going to get there any way they can. Still rings are next. Stay with us. We continue from the Neil Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii, with the McDonald's USA versus China Gymnastics Invitational. This is still rings, and the name really says it all. The rings should remain still. This is Lu Yun of the Chinese team.
Alan, swing movements, giant swings, strength parts, like this. An iron cross, and watch this. He pulls up out of the cross and right into a handstand. Boy, do you have to be strong. Inverted cross now. Another strength move.
Lu Yun is 19 years old and a champion of the vault at the Universiade 1983.
And a double back layout with a great landing. He did his strength moves, he did his giant swings, a great dismount. You know, you almost see almost one perfect routine after the
I was
next.
just going to say, no let up at all.
Look at the beginning. Iron cross, and then it's almost like he's on an elevator. Right into the handstand. He keeps his arms straight. Rings it perfectly still, and here. An inverted cross. One strength move after the next.
A 9.9 for Lu Yun. Next up, the man we say is the comeback of the year, Jim Hartung. Let's find out more.
Seems like I've always been able to do some new skills that I've never competed in. Finally, I'm getting those skills into my routines. And yes, consistency seems to have been, you know, associated with my gymnastics. And I lost a little bit of that last year, and that really kind of scared me because I really didn't know what was going on. And I think with the American Cup and this competition, I think I've relearned how to compete. I forgot for a while. I started thinking about the judges and the scores and everything else but besides gymnastics, and now I'm just concentrating on gymnastics and my routines and what I have to do, and it's helping a lot.
On the still rings, here we are. Sore shoulder, getting better, feeling stronger. When you're up there, what do you think about?
Well, rings has always been one of my favorite. It seems like it's so hard to, like pommel horse or parallel bars or high bar, you have to let go of those events all the time and try and re-grab them. And rings, you always got a solid grip and you never fall off. So, well, usually you never fall off. So I just think about swinging and being strong, and I'm going to try a new dismount tonight. I used this dismount for a couple of years, but since that time I've added a couple strength parts, and I've never been able to put this dismount into the routine because of those strength parts. And I think my endurance and my strength is up where I'm going to attempt this dismount again tonight.
Well, tell me, what is the dismount?
Oh, double twisting, double back. I did it a long time ago. I was one of the first people in the world to do it, but I haven't used it in a long time, and it's going to be like a new skill tonight.
A double twisting, double back from Jim Hartung today, and I'm looking forward to it, Jimmy.
I'm looking forward to attempting it.
Stand by. Here it comes.
Double back with a double twist, Alan. That's where his dismount. But let's take a look at his shoulder. Let's see if he favors it, if he cuts back on any of his strength parts. We've seen Jimmy many times on USA, and he's a real tough competitor. Look at this planche. Inverted cross. Now that's hard on the shoulder. Drops down, kips up into an L, presses the handstand, and now the dismount. A double back somersault with 2 twists. Let's see if he can land it. Back giant, front giant, keeping his arms straight on the giant swings, and here it comes. Double back, double twist, only 1 step forward. I think Jimmy has to feel very happy about this routine.
Well, the one bad thing, especially in this event with a shoulder injury, is that you can't really work on anything that'll help you except with your shoulders, and so you have to take a complete layoff. One more time.
Watch the dismount. If he didn't take that step, this would have been a 10-0 routine, but you have to try. You've got to do the hard, difficult moves. Double back somersault with 2 twists, just 1 step forward.
Now that 1 step, a 10, and that's all that Jim Hartung lost. His score on 9.9. Next up for the Chinese, Zhu Zhizhong.
Alan, I hope that you're getting the impression on how important landings and dismounts are in the sport. They're doing so many difficult acrobatic movements, but they're doing them so well on the apparatus. It's just the landings that sometimes will determine who's going to win. Presses straight arms. Giant swing. Giant swing. Just a slight swing over the rings right now. He'll stop it. Getting set for his dismount. Double back layout and just a slight hop. So aside from the slight hop and the slight movement of the rings, that's the only deduction that I could say. It's just one great routine after the next. Watch the beginning. Kips, L cross, and pulls up slowly. Right to the handstand, keeping his arms straight. Very pretty toe point. Legs together.
And for Zhu Zhizhong, a 9.9. And so we have a 3-way tie. Next, it's back to the Americans. And the NCAA all-around champion for 1984, Mitch Gaylord, who will not have a very far commute to the games in Los Angeles. He performs for UCLA.
Big home court advantage. Let's take a look. I believe that Mitch might throw a very difficult dismount off the rings. Think of it, a triple back somersault.
And now Mitch Gaylord.
Just a few years ago, people didn't think this was possible, doing the triple back somersault at the end of a ring routine, and here we're going to see one today. Here's a planche. Giant swing, a little out of control. To an iron cross. Presses right into the handstand, straight arms. Giant swing to the handstand again, and the dismount coming up. Triple back somersault. Mitch Gaylord.
One step, but it looked good. I'll tell you something, John. I was just doing some triple back somersaults yesterday, and I was thinking about Mitch Gaylord the entire time.
Well, let's watch. Sets it up with a front giant swing, back giant swing 3 times. 3 times. It's almost like watching the circus when you were a kid. Here we go. 1, 2, and the 3rd time around, great control. Knew where he was all the time, which is unbelievable, and just a step forward.
And the score for the NCAA all-around champion, a 9.9. So a check of the still ring scoreboard reveals 9.9s across the board. And so this team from the Far East continues to give this gymnastic world some Chinese food for thought. And I'll tell you something about the performances we've seen so far in Honolulu. They're like the waves here in Hawaii. They just keep coming and coming and coming. Next on USA Sports, men's vault in a moment. We're back in Honolulu, Hawaii on USA Sports for more of the McDonald's USA versus China Gymnastics Invitational. There are many important people in gymnastics. Let's meet one of them.
It's Mr. Mike Jackie, who's the executive director of the United States Gymnastics Federation. And Mike, it's a wonderful thing that the Federation could put on a competition like this. This is part of your strategy, I believe.
Yes, that's true, John. Of course, one of our responsibilities is that we do organize international competitions like this. And we try to do as many of these as we can during the year in order to allow our athletes the international experience, which is absolutely essential in preparation for World Championships and the Olympic Games.
It gets to be a very expensive ordeal. You're bringing, I believe, 27 Chinese delegation members from China, plus the American delegation. There's over 50 people here. It's so expensive, but it's yet so important. How do you finance something like this?
Well, we finance these things with great difficulty. They're financed through the normal channels that we generate money, which is our membership program and sponsorships, of course, some money that we do get from the United States Olympic Committee. Any creative financial ways that we can get our hands on money, we can, donations. But the sponsorship money is becoming more and more important to us, and basically without it, it'd be very difficult to run our programs.
One of the beneficiaries of the Great American Program, Jim Hartung. This is the men's vault.
9.875 was...
The men have yet to win an event. There have been ties, but that is it.
Alan, 2 vaults. They average out the score. So both vaults count. Front somersault, half turn. What a great vault for Jim Hartung.
He's so small and so compact, but there's so much energy in that small package.
What amazes me every time is look at the distance traveled, the height off the horse. He does an acrobatic movement, a front somersault, a half turn, sees the floor, and not a step on the landing. Controls the energy.
Now for Jim Hartung, a 9.9. Crowd appreciating that effort for the former Husker of Nebraska. Now remember, each competitor gets 2 runs. It'll average out the scores. Second attempt.
All set. Strong run. Whoa!
Oh, no.
Oh, I think Jim Hartung is as surprised as we are. A.B. Grossville, the Olympic coach, pats him on the back, says, "Don't worry about it, Jim."
Now, Jim evidently touched the springboard, and that counts as a vault.
That's a vault, right. If he didn't touch the springboard, he would have been given another chance, but he touched the board. I have no idea what went wrong. He probably felt his takeoff wasn't right and decided to not crash into the horse.
Well,
he gets a 0 on that.
And an average of 4.95. Zhu Zhizhuang of the Chinese team.
Jim's not going to forget that for a while. I'm going to make sure I'm going to remind him next time I see him. Front somersault in pike position with a half turn way up there. Look how this man explodes off the horse.
The average of the 2
So quick. Watch when his hands touch the horse. What happens to his body? He goes straight up into the air. The amplitude. Pike position opens up early. Just a slight hop forward.
And for Zhu Zhizhuang, as he looks at the judges posting the final tallies, a reminder that the score to beat is this, 9.85. Jim Hartung had a 9.9, but a 0 on his second vault. Just put him out of the running with a 4.95 average. Second vault now for Zhu Zhizhuang.
The landing, the distance travel, the amplitude off the horse, and the form of the acrobatic movement. That's a Sukahara layout, and really it's just a great landing. No extra steps. And look how far these guys are traveling.
It's difficult for me to guess which one may be better.
Well, I say this was a little bit better because the landing was just so pretty. Look at his hands out to the side. And really nails it.
A tiny hop. He fought it desperately.
9.90.
And a 9.9 for Zhu Zhizhang. Quite an average of 9.875. And thus the challenge exists for Mitch Gaylord.
Average is 9.775. So win. Now, Mitch Gaylord.
Watch how high Mitch gets up in the air. This is one of the things the judges are looking for, the amplitude off the horse. And the push. Push. Sukahara, full twist. Just a little trouble on the landing.
Mitch really turned on the jets for that one.
He was way up there.
He came off that board with so much power.
Alan, watch how high he is off the horse. Way, way up there. Sukahara layout position with a full twist. Spots the floor. Just a little trouble on the landing. Not a bad first score, 9.85. Second vault, handspring front with a half turn. And he actually went off the mat onto the second mat. He's really traveling tremendous distances. And he has to just control that tremendous explosion of energy. And he took that big hop on the landing. That's going to hurt. But watch how far he goes. Way up there, front somersault, a half turn, traveling, and on the landing.
Mitch's second vault,
That big hop.
9.80.
A lot of momentum to control for Mitch Gaylord. And now we focus in on Lu Yun of the Chinese team. Mitch Gaylord's second score was a 9.8. He will be 0.05 of a point off the pace. His two vault total, 9.825. The University at vaulting champion in Edmonton, Alberta, 1 year ago.
And now,
Well, you could expect a good vault. This man looked very good in floor, and look at this. Whoa! A front somersault with a half turn in pike position, extends out of it, and he stood there and he said, "Ah, look at me."
Perfection never happens as fast as it does right here.
Watch this. Handspring, front somersault, half turn, extending out of it. Look at the landing. Stands it up.
And you can hear the crowd reaction in the background. The judges have rewarded Lu Yun appropriately with a 10.
preparing for his second vault.
What do you think, Alan? Just an unbelievable competition, huh?
We really haven't seen anything that has been less than excellent, except for Jim Hartung's miss, and even he took that in such good humor, you really couldn't call that a detraction from the meet. USA versus China. We're in Honolulu, Hawaii. This is Lu Yun, second attempt, final competitor in the men's vault.
Whoa! Handspring, front with 1.5 twists. So hard to control because you're twisting and flipping at the same time, and he only took one step out of it. This man is somebody to really look at for the Olympic Games. Keep an eye on him.
And that concludes the vaulting event.
Now, it's a handspring front somersault with 1.5 turns. Look at this. Here's the front, and count it. 1.5. 1.5. It's amazing he knows where he is, and only one step backwards.
9.9.
A 9.9 for Lu Yun. His average a 9.95. That will give him the victory here in the men's vault. And so, running down the scoreboard in the men's vault competition, Lu Yun a 9.95, Zhu Zhizhang a 9.875, and Mitch Gaylord of the United States a 9.825. Coming up next, the event of balance. And you better maintain your balance or you'll fall off. That could be devastating. Next on USA. The crowd at the Neil Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu has been treated to some kind of gymnastic exhibition. This is Pam Bilek of Team USA. She is another member of the SCATS team, the gymnastic team from Southern California. She's coming off an injury, and she'll be first up on the balance beam. course, when you return from an injury, those first few competitions are a little bit nervous.
And this is her first major one since the injury, and back tuck, and what a place to be on the beam. But this youngster's very talented. Two back handsprings. Straddle jump.
I sensed a little hesitation there.
Well, she was preparing herself, making sure she was under total and complete control of her body before she went up into the air. You know what's amazing about the balance beam? It's so easy, back layout, step out. You know, it's so easy to fall on the beam, but yet you saw a competition in the first few events where 1/10 of a point meant so much. Well, if you fall off the beam, 5/10 of a point deduction. And that's a very painful deduction. But so far, Pammy is doing very, very well. There's a slight wobble in the beginning of her routine, and her dismount. Double twisting back somersault. Well, Alan, just aside from the slight problem on her dismount and in the beginning of her routine, this was an excellent performance for Pammy Byler. Here's a dismount. Round off, back handspring, double twist, 2 times around, and look for that 1 step for a 10th deduction.
Next up, Wu Jiani. Trying to better Pam Bilek's 9.70.
And now, Wu Jiani.
Very nice mount.
It's a front aerial onto the beam. A little bit different, Alan, from what you normally see. I love the way the Chinese use their arms. It's almost as if they have, you know, no bones in their arms. And they're so fluid, so graceful.
And the accents go right to the fingertips.
Back handspring, back handspring. Great concentration, must flow. The flow of energy is so important. Here's a back handspring. At the end, you can see she got jammed up a little bit. I think the judges might take off a 10th or 2 for that. It was a very difficult skill. Back handspring on the side of the beam. And her dismount, double twisting back somersault, just a hop off to the side. A very pretty routine, but just a little problem on the back handspring and a slight problem on the dismount. Just a slight hop sideways. And here, back handspring, and here's a back handspring, straddle down. Oh, yeah.
And for Wu Jiani of the Chinese team, judges making the final posting, and it's a 9.75. Good enough to put her in first place for now. Well, with something to say about that, we go to Diane Durham of the United States. McDonald's International Invitational in '83, she was the all-around champion. But she's coming off a subpar performance at the American Cup.
She had a rough time. She had a knee injury in the earlier part of the year that forced her to miss the World Championships. She wasn't able to compete at World Championships. But she's back and looking very, very aggressive. Front somersault, back somersault. As you can see, she is not considered a weak acrobat or tumbler. Handstand. Split position. Helps her in the balance. And she'll work out of it now. Back layout. Woo! Very appreciative crowd. Once you see her dismount, Alan, it is a double back somersault way, way up in the air. Back walkover, back handspring. Diane's working her way right into the very edge of the beam to get the longest run possible for her dismount. And here it is. Round of back handspring, double back somersault. Way up in the air, just one step backwards.
And if you don't think that kind of cheerleading from the crowd, that kind of support is good for a tenth or two every now and then, you're wrong.
Sure is, and I think that's going to be a big difference at Pauley Pavilion this year during the Olympic Games. Watch this dismount. Both feet hit at the same time, makes it risky. Both feet on the beam, punching down, lifting up. She's off to the side slightly, but she pulls it around. Double back somersault, just that one step backwards.
And for Diane Durham, a 9.85. She leads right now. 9.85. You know, certainly when Team USA gets to Los Angeles, they'll be in the spotlight much more than they are here in Hawaii. The world will be watching. And so much time and effort is spent on the uniforms. But then again, in order to complete the look, you can't forget about the hair. This is Julianne McNamara before, and this is Julianne McNamara during a treatment from Vidal Sassoon, more particularly Jerry Brennan. You see, Vidal Sassoon is traveling around a team of haircutters, and they're snipping and clipping with the same perfection that these gymnasts prefer and demand in their own performances. And in the end, America is looking good. And there's Julianne McNamara after.
Pretty girl, huh?
Ma Young Hung. Not concerned about her hair right now, but she dazzled us with a perfect 10 before.
Side aerial. And you asked me once before, what are the differences between back tuck? Some of the American gymnasts and the Chinese gymnasts. Look at the grace, poise, and arm movements of the Chinese gymnasts. They are considered possibly the best in the world in the dance elements. I can't wait to see them on floor exercise. Back handspring, back handspring, back handspring. 3 in a row. Not a wobble, not a hesitation. Not a hair out of place.
Yang Hong is the cleanup hitter, if you will, for the Chinese team. She is a world champion. Tremendous poise, can handle all the pressure.
That's a little deduction. She lost balance on the handstand slightly. That's the only thing I saw wrong so far. And that's a very small deduction. And here's a dismount.
Not the slightest step visible.
Well, it's going to be close to a 10. What a beautiful performance. And watch, 3 back handsprings in a row. 1, 2, and 3 with hardly any room to spare, Alan. Look at this. And grace.
And for Ma Young Hong, she's received many great scores just like this in her gymnastic career, and another victory for her. A 9.95. And the sportsmanship, the atmosphere of it continues here in Honolulu. So a check of the scoreboard as balance beam concludes here for the women at the Neil Blaisdell Arena. The Chinese have done it again. Ma Young Hong, a 9.95. Diane Durham of the United States, close, but not enough with a 9.85. Tickets for gymnastics, of course, in Los Angeles, a sellout. But if you use the right bait, you never know, you might land a couple. Parallel bars are next. Stay with us on USA. USA Gymnastics coach A.B. Grossfeld once a pictorial souvenir of his visit to this invitational meet, and perhaps for some research.
Well, Amy goes back and he really studies the films because at this high-level competition, everybody learns.
Our first look in this particular meet at one of the familiar faces in American gymnastics, Phil Cahoy. He has made every national team the last 5 years, a graduate of the University of Nebraska, and he helped the Huskers win 4 NCAA championships.
And you can see why. Look at this demonstration on the parallel bars. And double front somersault. What a great routine. Just, you know, all I can say is, once again, it's the dismounts that gets the gymnast these lower scores, the 10ths off here and there. But the beginning of the routines are just magnificent. Look at the beginning here. Back seat circle into a high V seat. What control? Presses into the handstand, keeping his arms straight. And off he goes.
Well, as gymnasts go, Phil Cahoy is definitely in the extra large category, and his scores usually follow along in that thought. 9-9 for Phil Cahoy. Next up in the parallel bars, Lu Yun from the Chinese team. Once again, you're watching the McDonald's USA versus China Gymnastics Invitational. We're at the Neil Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm Al Troutwig along with John Trietta.
Now, the next competitor from the People's Republic of China.
Putting chalk on the bar so that he doesn't slip off allows him to get a better grip. And this gentleman here, the 1983 world champion on the parallel bars, so you could expect just one whale of a performance.
This is Lu Yun.
Starts below the bars, right into the handstand called the peach basket. Giant swings to a half turn. Just wild. Another giant swing. Always under control. Stutz here. Another giant swing. It's almost like he's swinging high bar. But it's really parallel bars. He's changing the perspective on how to work the bars. Just a slight deduction on that Stutz kier there. Bent his arm slightly. Otherwise, a great routine. Let's see how he does on the dismount. Double back somersault, a great dismount. I only saw one slight problem near the middle of the routine. Watch the beginning. Peach basket right to the handstand, pulls right through. And watch this, Alan. A giant swing down and does a half turn to the top of the bar. Into another giant swing right into the handstand. This is great stuff.
Score 9.95.
And the judges thought it was great stuff, too. A 9.95 for Lu Yun. You're looking at our new leader. Phil Cahoy's 9.9, bested by 0.05 of a point. Back to the Americans. This is Tim Daggett. Now, John, you've called him the most improved gymnast in the United States, and that he has broken into the top rank. He is not in the second echelon in any respect any longer.
Well, I remember Tim when he was in high school, he said, I want to be on the national team. He made the national team. Then he said, I wanted to be in the top 8 in the United States. He became one of the top 8 gymnasts in the United States. Now, he's got to be considered in the top 3 or 4 gymnasts in the United States. What a remarkable improvement. And so far, this is a great performance on the parallel bars. Back layout. Pirouette, Stutz. Double back somersault. A great landing. The coach behind him, Ricardo Sakamoto. That's his coach at UCLA. Really excited about this. And here's a giant swing down. Straddle cut over the top of the bar. Look at this wild combination. To a straddle cut again into an L catch. Man flies.
Tim Daggett has become a strong favorite here at Honolulu. The crowd has really rallied behind him, and we have an American and a Chinese gymnast at the top. And for the first time, a negative reaction from the crowd. They cannot believe that a perfect score was not issued to Tim Daggett. So Lu Yun and Tim Daggett both are tied at 9.95. Zhou Limin.
Isn't this going to be a great competition at the Olympic Games? It's going to be one of the sports really to keep an eye on. So closely competed. Peach Basket flies into the handstand. Peach Basket with a half turn. You see all those little wobbles and steps with his hands? Those are all deductions.
Well, that was different.
Yes, it was. Getting set for his dismount. Schutzkier. Another Schutzkier. A little loose back on that. Double back somersault. A great landing.
John, I wonder how often some of those new moves on all the events are discovered by accident.
There are some moves that are discovered by accident, and some of them are just planned by studying biomechanics and what somebody's done previously by building up. Now here is Peach Basket, and here's all these additional steps that he took with his hands. Each step is a 10th deduction. That's where he got hurt on this routine.
Mitch Gaylord.
And the judges tally for Zhou Limin a 9.85.
Score for Zhou.
So the score to beat still is a 9.95. Once again to a fabulous acrobat and a gymnast, in your words, John, a gymnast of great coverage. Mitch Gaylord, what did you mean by that?
Well, wait until you see him on horizontal bar. He does a move on the horizontal bar called the Gaylord 2 that requires, I think, extreme courage and confidence and is on the cutting edge of the sport. But watch this. Straddle cut, planche. He's also strong. He swings very well. Now that's a deduction. He does a double leg cut and he dips his legs on the L. That's a deduction of about a 10th off. Double back somersault. There's dismount. A slight hop forward. I know Mitch wasn't totally satisfied with his T-bar performance, but he certainly didn't have any major problems. Just all these small little ones is what really adds up and can hurt your score.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the parallel bar event.
It's called a Healy turn,
Final score for
straddle
Mitch
cut,
we will proceed with our award ceremony.
and into the planche, demonstrating strength and control over those parallel bars.
And for Mitch Gaylord, a 9.90. So another event which the Americans do not win, but here in parallel bars, they are well represented on the final scoreboard. And to summarize, Lou Yun and Tim Daggett a 9.95. Phil Cahoy and Mitch Gaylord a 9.90. Next on USA Sports, our spotlight on our Team USA becomes a searchlight as to who will lead the women in floor exercise. Stay with us. They're about 7,000 miles from home, but they seem right at home. They have come with talent, they have come with skill, and they have come prepared, the Chinese team. As we continue with the McDonald's USA China Gymnastics Invitational, this is Michelle Dussert, and on floor exercise, she can be absolutely enchanting. Let's watch.
Double back somersault, pike position, great start. I love her dance. I think she's just about the best in the United States on this. Second pass, a triple twisting back somersault. 3 times, so quick, it's a blur.
Looked like a little Michael Jackson moonwalk touch there.
Michelle and her coach did a wonderful job in the choreography of her routine. And she does have that talent. Now her dismount. Double twisting back somersault. What do you think, Alan?
I'll side with the crowd.
Kid's a winner. Alan, I just loved her dance, but her tumbling was excellent also. Here's her mount. It's a double back somersault in pike position. She keeps her knees straight 2 times around, a very solid landing, and a great start for a wonderful routine.
And Michelle Dessert has set a hot pace, 9.90.
And now, from the People's Republic of China, Zhou Ping.
There you hear Zhou Ping from the People's Republic of China. Next up on floor exercise. I would expect to hear from the Chinese, John, a much more traditional selection of music.
Well, they love American music and Western music, and she just did a double back somersault with a full twist, something you see the guys normally mount with, and they're very powerful tumblers, and then the grace and the dance. Watch. Second pass, double back somersault. Now that is going to cost at least 2 to 3/10 of a deduction placing her hands on the floor. It's a major deduction when you place your hands on the floor exercise mat. That still doesn't take away from the beauty of her presentation. Dismount. Double twisting back somersault.
Zhou Ping.
Ellen, I think it was a very good routine except for that unfortunate incident on the second pass on her double back somersault where she placed her hands on the floor.
Well, you could tell the flair and the confidence was there.
Watch. Round up back handspring. Double back somersault. Watch the hands. Under rotates it. Hands on the floor. At least a 3/10 deduction.
And the score for Zhou Ping, 9.50.
Here is Kathy Johnson.
She will not beat Michelle Dessert's 9.90. On to the American veteran at 24 years of age, Kathy Johnson.
And Kathy always gets the crowd behind her. This is where her extensive experience in gymnastics really pays off. Wonderful dance, presentation, and she placed the crowd. Watch. First pass, double back somersault, pike position. And a big smile. Kathy's always been the leader of dance in this country when it comes to floor exercise. And has made a wonderful contribution in that area. That's a 1.5 twist to a back layout.
Now the crowd comes to life.
Our last tumbling pass, double twisting back somersault. What do you say, Alan? Does she know how to move a crowd, or does she know how to move a crowd?
I certainly think Team USA will be drawing a lot from her experience and composure. Watch it once again, Kathy Johnson.
Second pass, round off, 1.5 twisting back somersault to a full twisting back somersault. Very pretty, and I just love her performance.
The crowd disappointed. Kathy Johnson's 9.85 has them riled a little bit. She didn't seem too upset. Next up, Ming Guizhou. Still, the level of competition has been maintained.
Round off, back handspring. Double back somersault, full turn. Whoa. This kid's a firecracker. Second pass. Arabian kite, double twisting back somersault. So far, great routine. Let's watch. Split leap. Last tumbling pass, round of back handspring, double back somersault. Oh.
And she finished it off right from there.
That's a shame, Alan. You know, when you fall down like that, it's a 5/10 reduction. And here, has everybody been fighting for a 10th here and a 10th there? And that's a 5/10 reduction when you sit down like that. Especially when this was such an outstanding routine. And look at her first pass. Round off back handspring.
For the United States.
It's a full twisting back somersault, so difficult and so well performed.
Defending champion of the United States.
And for Ming Guizhou, a disappointing 9.45. It would have been much higher except for that last-minute mistake. Next up for the United States is Diane Durham. Now, she has really dazzled us with some of her efforts here already, but there's a big question of her knee. Can it stand floor exercise? That and more with John Trietta.
I'm psyched because I think the Chinese are very good, and they did very well at the World Championships, and I didn't go because of my knee, and I just wanted to show them that I was still a top contender for the Olympics and to challenge them also.
The challenge is always so important, and I know that you like to challenge them on also your best events. What would you say is your favorite event, and what should we look for today?
My favorite event, it was vault, but now it's floor, because now I like to show off my floor a lot more, and my tumbling's gotten a lot better. So you probably want to look for my floor routine.
We do not have to look for it. Here it is.
Style, music, totally different. This is an explosive gymnast. And watch. Double back somersault, full twist, way up in the air.
She's got the crowd going now.
Crowd just loves this. You can see that Diane really enjoys this routine, and this is what makes the difference for the judges, for herself, everybody. Second pass. 1.5 twisting back somersault to a double back somersault.
What knee problem?
Looking good. Well, if she can really nail this mount, this last pass, she's going to get a great score. Double back somersault way up in the air.
Yes.
Well, Diane is somebody you really have to look for winning a medal at the Olympic Games. She's certainly doing it here today.
Her teammates were cheering throughout the routine, saying, "Come on, Diane." She pulled through. That was some exhibition. There was no trouble with the knee evidence at all.
standing on their feet.
A 10. Diane Durham, a perfect score in floor exercise, and the Americans have won.
And now,
Watch how high she gets up. This is a very quick, explosive. It's a double back somersault with a full twist way up there, always under control.
in first place.
And Diane Durham closes out the women's competition with victory. The United States is in the winner's circle. Let's recap the scoreboard of women's floor exercise. Diane Durham, a perfect 10. This time, it was more than a tie for the United States, a victory. Michelle Dessert, a 9.9, and Kathy Johnson, a 9.85. Next on USA, we point our cameras to the sky for the wild aerial world of high bar. Well, the fans are still going here at the Neil Blaisdell Arena. We have saved the best for last. Men's high bar. Exciting. There are changes going on in this element of gymnastics. Exciting changes. Here's Mario McCutcheon, 1983 World Championship team member from New York City and a winner of the prestigious Nissen Award.
Mario performs the McCutcheon. It's named after him. Here it comes. One-arm giant swing to a reverse hex. First person in the world to perform it in international competition, and that's the reward. It gets named after. He's having trouble on his dislocate there, but bails it out. Back into giant swings. Front giant. Veronin vault. This man's just flying. He really swings on the pipe. Getting set for his dismount. Let's see if he can nail it. Double back layout. Whoa! The McCutch does it again. Always under control, but he's got to feel really pleased about this routine. Watch the McCutcheon on the horizontal bar. This is what helped him win USA champions on this event last year. With one arm, he's got to release and go over backwards. Reverse hecht out of a one-arm giant swing, way up there.
A great boost for the Americans. A 9.8 for Mario McCutcheon. And now we head back to the People's Republic.
9.80.
For Zhao Weidong. Crowd not liking the 9.80 of Mario McCutcheon. But that is the challenge now for Weidong.
Right into the handstand stall to shoot. Reverse hex. Big release. One-on giant swing. Full turn. Giant swings. L-grip position. Getting set for his dismount. Speeding it up. Elbow back layout way up there. And all I can see what went wrong was once again one step on the landing. Otherwise, a perfect routine. Watch this big release move on the horizontal bar. A reverse hecht way, way up there. And that bar is 8 feet off the ground, and he must be at least another 3 or 4 feet off that.
For the USA will be Tim.
For Zhao Weidong, the score is 9.90. So he is the leader. Next up for the United States is this man, Mitch Gaylord. And when you talk about him in this event, you have to talk about the Gaylord 2 release.
Well, this is a new release move that I thought up about, I don't know, it was a while ago, but I just started using it about 2 weeks ago. And it's a release move that goes from one side of the bar over the top of the bar to the other side. So that's why it's kind of neat. It's a little scary for the audience because it looks like I'm going to land on the bar. And sometimes it looks like that for me too, but no, I really like the trick. It's a risky trick, and, you know, the crowd really gets into it, so I like doing it.
When we watch it today, how would we know you have it right on?
It's going to look like I'm going to hit the bar, probably. That's the way I know. I mean, I know I'm going to release it right on top of the bar instead of over the side. You know, if it goes over, you know I'm gone. There's no chance of catching it. But hopefully we'll go right on top of the bar, and then I'll be able to grab it.
Let's hope he doesn't hit the bar.
Alan, you just won't believe this when you see it. And he does it right in the beginning of his routine. Watch. Here it comes. That's the Gaylord 2. Only person in the world performing it. And it really makes him a tremendous contender to win this event in the Olympic Games.
Is that the sequel to Gaylord 1?
That's the sequel to Gaylord 1. And he does a double back somersault with a full twist for an ending. But that Gaylord release is just unbelievable. Now you know what I mean. Courage, talent, imagination. He releases the bar, does a 1 1/4 flip over the top of the bar, and regresses it after he does a half turn, of course. Here it is. Releases to 1 1/4 turn over the top of the bar. Look at this. Looking for the bar, hoping he's going to catch it. He does catch it.
Well, the crowd here at the Neil Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu has become almost hostile. They have not enjoyed the last few scores. This disappointing total is a 9.85 for Mitch Gaylord.
The 9.85 might have been, he might have bent his arms on the Gaylord flip a little bit, but I'll tell you something. Just catching it, I wouldn't have given him any deduction at all. I don't know what they deducted on that routine, but what did you think of that flip?
Well, it was what we've come to expect from high bar, the unexpected. Zhou Li Min will wrap it up for the People's Republic.
One-arm giant swing. Big Ginga flyaway. Look at this. Let's go the bar, going frontwards, and keeps on turning and twisting in one arm. High front somersault in straddle position. It's a great routine. Getting set for his dismount. Double back somersault with a full twist. Alan, I must say that this has been a tremendous competition and a wonderful experience between the Chinese and the American gymnasts, and I think that it's going to have some very positive results for the American team in the Olympic Games. Here's this one-arm release into a Ginga, which is a flyaway, half-turn way over the bar. I'll say one more time, the American team never looked better. The men and the girls never looked better. I'm so proud of these kids.
Show them the respect they so rightfully deserve in the
A perfect 10 for Zhou Li Min of the Chinese team. He will win the high bar competition. Well, a fitting ending for this great Chinese team. Li Min, Wai Dong, Zhui Zheng, they are 1, 2, 3 in high bar. Final comments in a moment. Well, I'll tell you what I thought. I thought maybe this was the best gymnastic competition we've ever seen on USA. 10s, perfect scores, 9